everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay, so this week's sequence is all about the glute med muscle. So this is one of the muscles of the bum. We have three main muscles. You have your glute max, which is the big bum muscle. Sitting underneath to the side is your glute med and your glute min. Your glute med is responsible for movements when the leg moves out to the side, so when we abduct. And also really responsible for finding stability in the pelvis, especially when we're standing on one leg. So let's say we're in tree pose. If you don't engage this muscle, you'll kind of just be a little bit lazy, kind of hanging out to the side. As soon as you switch on the side of the bum, the kind of around the hip, notice how I lengthen and my pelvis becomes level rather than kind of just hanging out to the side. So really important in our balances today that you switch that on. We'll get that strength, that length, that stability. Okay, so I'm going to start you in Supta Baddha Konasana. So we're going to lie down on our backs, soles of the feet together, knees out wide. Just place your arms wherever is comfortable. So that might be one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly, might be arms overhead. And then just start to breathe a little bit deeper. Take a big breath in through the nose. And clear it out through the mouth. Feel free to take a few more like this, or just start to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And take your moment just to check in and notice how the body feels. So where there might be areas of tension, where you might feel a little bit more open, how heavy the body feels towards the mat. And then when you're ready, start to draw your knees in towards one another. Give yourself a gentle hug, walking from side to side, maybe circling through that lower back, noticing all those muscles around the pelvis. And then let's bring the hands to the backs of the thighs. We're going to rock and roll the length of your mat, coming up and down in a nice little tight ball, tucking the chin in. So I want you to think about getting a good massage, but try not to bring the feet down when you come up. So you have that moment when you kind of hover. Good, and then next time we're going to meet on all fours. So however you want to get there is fine. In your all fours, just start to move through some cat-cows. So as you move through your cat-cows, I want this to be really fluid, really intuitive. So if it feels better to kind of create other movements rather than just straight arching and rounding, then do. Maybe thinking about stretching out the wrists. Maybe releasing through the back of the neck. Maybe swaying the hips from side to side. Good. And then start to think about coming to a place of neutral in your spine. From here, we're going to extend the right leg out behind us, flex the foot. Just notice that the right hip wants to be facing downwards rather than opening up to the sky. So just draw that right hip down towards the mat. Then here, as it's a balance, that left hip is going to want to dip to the side. Squeeze the left hip up and in. So think about the side of the bum cheek working. And then start to move that right foot out to the right-hand side of the room. You keep the toes facing down. Try not to sway over to the left. Keep the left butt cheek active. Good, bring it back to center. You should kind of start to feel the side of the bum work. And other side, so left leg out behind, flex the foot. Really energize through that leg like you're trying to kick a door behind you. And then just notice, firstly, are you swaying over to the right-hand side? Are you bringing too much weight over to the right-hand side? If you are, squeeze the side of the hip. And then make sure the left hip is drawing down as you move the left foot out to the left-hand side. Flex the foot. So we don't really want anything else to move when we move the leg. It's just the leg moving, not the hips, not the spine. Good, come back to center. Bring that knee down and we'll make our way to a downward facing dog. Again, in your down dog, I want you to be really intuitive. So if it feels good to move, then move. Otherwise, stay still. Just think about your foundation, so spreading the fingers wide, pressing through every single knuckle. deepening the breath. Good, okay, from here we're going to take an inhale, tip forwards into a plank pose, so shoulders are over the wrists. Let's just take a moment to do a quick body scan. So I want you to draw the chin in like a double chin, not tucking the chin in towards the chest, but just drawing it in lightly like a double chin. So the back of the neck is long, then press the mat away so the shoulders are nice and active, like you're pressing the breastbone up towards the spine. Then we think about lifting the ribs up and in, squeezing the belly, thinking thighs being active. Imagine you've got a block in between those legs, squeezing onto that block. Good, one more big breath in. And then exhale, lower knees, and then chest all the way down with control. Sphinx pose. So forearms down onto the mat. What I want you to do is just make sure the elbows are underneath the shoulders. Then traction the hands back to lift through the chest. Press through the backs of the feet so the legs are active. This is definitely one of my favorite back bends. I think it's such a good way to feel into the middle of the back, kind of that place behind the heart. You're thinking about peeling those ribs up and away from the mat, and at the same time just making sure there's still length through the back of the neck. Okay, one more big breath in. And then as you exhale, just release the forehead down to the mat. Arms go down by your sides, palms face the mat. Take an inhale, lift arms, head and chest, and then the legs. Now squeeze the shoulder blades together. Think about the heart moving forwards and up, the feet pressing away. Keep the back of the body super active, so squeeze the bum. Think about the backs of the legs. One more big breath in. Exhale, release, press back, downward facing dog. Okay, from your downward facing dog, we're going to bend the knees, look forwards. Just slowly walk the feet to the hands at the front of the mat. And I want you to come into your ragdoll, so swaying the body from side to side, releasing through the back of the neck. Good, and then let's interlace the fingers behind the back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, draw the arms up and over. Breathe into the chest. If you can, I want you to think about pressing the upper arms away from one another. And if you need to, you bend the knees. So remember, if the backs of the legs feel really tight, bend the knees. Okay, one more big breath in. Exhale, release the hands down to the mat. You're going to heel toe the feet together. Let's take an inhale, root to rise, so sweep to stand. Think about squeezing the sides of the hips in towards one another. And then exhale, fold all the way down, release back of the neck. Hands are going to go flat, so bend the knees if you need. Inhale, lengthen through a flat back. Think shoulders pulling back. And then as you exhale, plant the hands. You're going to step the right foot back, then the left. You to lower down, your choice, either knees and chest or chaturanga. Okay, big breath into your cobra or your up dog. Just take a moment to pause. We tend to rush through our back bends in our vinyasa flow, so just take a moment, pause here, think about chest moving forwards and up, elbows hugging together if you're in your cobra pose. If you're in your up dog, I want you to really think about activating through those legs. Okay, one more big breath in. And then as you exhale, press it back, downward facing dog. Use your tummy to lift your hips. Okay, big breath here. So think here, as the hips are moving up and back, can you squeeze the outer hips in so there's still a sense of strength through the muscles of the glutes? So we're not just lengthening the back of the body, we're also strengthening. And then on your next exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step the right foot first, then the left. And then take an inhale, flat back. Think shoulders back. And exhale to fold. Okay, inhale, root to rise. Sweep to stand, come all the way up. And then exhale, fold all the way down. Release the back of the neck. Inhale, lengthen through a flat back. And then exhale, plant the hands. You're going to step the left foot back, then the right. Good, lower down, your choice, knees and chest or chaturanga. This time, just one really big breath in to your cobra or your up dog. And then a really big breath out to your downward facing dog. So noticing how you're going to press the mat away. So we want to think about the fingers spreading wide so you can really connect down to the mat to press away, lift up through the forearms, and then lift all the way up through the spine and the hips. Okay, on your next exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step the left foot, then the right, and then inhale to lengthen. And an exhale to fold. Okay, inhale, sweep to stand, come all the way up. Reaching tall to lift. And then exhale, fold all the way down to release. Inhale, lengthen, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands. You can step or float back, your choice. Lowering down, your choice. Big breath in, cobra or up dog. And big breath out to your downward facing dog. Just check in with the breath. Make sure you're breathing chest, ribs, all the way down into the tummy. And then on your next exhale, let's bend the knees, look forwards. You can either step or float to the front, your choice. Inhale, lengthen, flat back. And exhale to fold. Okay, inhale, chair pose this time. So let's bend the knees, lift the chest. 5 breaths. So really, really good time to think about switching on the muscles of the bum. So we think sides of the bum pulling in, so sides of the hips pulling in. And then think about the sitting bone pulling up. Good, sink the weight into the heels. Maybe go just a little bit lower. Take one more big breath in. And then exhale, fold and release, tuck the chin. Okay, inhale, lengthen through a flat back. And then exhale, plant the hands, either step or float. If you're stepping, just make sure you alternate the legs. Move through your vinyasa, or if you want to skip it out, you just go straight back to a downward facing dog. Okay, from your down dog, let's take an inhale, sweep the right leg up and back behind. And then as you exhale, step the right foot in between the hands. Keep the back heel lifted. Take an inhale to your high lunge. Okay, as you exhale, we're going to lean forwards and sweep the arms back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together there. And then inhale, arms are going to move forwards, but keep the chest low. Exhale, spin the back heel, open it wide to your warrior 2. Okay, inhale, let's reverse our warrior, so look up to the sky. And then as you exhale, spin both hands down to the mat, step back, lower down. Big breath into your cobra or your up dog. Big breath out to your downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg, we sweep to the sky. Exhale, step the left foot in between the hands. Keep the back heel lifted. Take an inhale, high lunge. Exhale, lean forward, sweep the arms back, shoulder blade squeeze. Inhale, arms move forwards, but the chest stays low. Exhale, open wide to your warrior 2. Okay, let's inhale, reverse your warrior, look up. And then exhale, spin back, both hands down to the mat, step it back, and move through your vinyasa. So remember, you can always lower the knees. Anytime you want to take a child's pose, take a child's pose. In your downward facing dog, just refueling the body with the breath. Let's think about the shoulders and the arms. So I want you to think about the inner arms, the biceps, trying to rotate up towards the sky. And then the outer arms, the triceps, trying to rotate down towards the mat. Like the shoulder blades are trying to draw apart from one another. On your next exhale, we're going to bend the knees, look forwards, either step or float lightly to the front, and then inhale, lengthen, flat back, and exhale, fold. Okay, inhale, chair pose, this time just one big breath, so squeeze the inner thighs, and then exhale, fold and release, tuck the chin. Inhale to lengthen through a flat back, and then exhale, plant the hands, step or float, good, lowering down, lots of control. Big breath in to your cobra or your up dog. Big breath out to your downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep the right leg up and back behind. Exhale, step through. Back heel stays lifted. We take an inhale to a high lunge. Exhale to lean forwards and sweep those arms back. Inhale, arms are going to move forwards. And then exhale, spin the back heel, open wide, warrior 2. Inhale, reverse your warrior, reach tall. And then exhale, bring both hands down to the mat. Take your time, step it back. Good, big breath into your back bend. Big breath out to your downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg moves to the sky. Exhale to step through, back heels lifted. We take an inhale, high lunge. Exhale to lean forwards and sweep the arms back. Good, inhale, arms move forwards. And then exhale, open it wide, warrior two. Big breath in, reverse your warrior, look up. And then exhale, spin both hands down, step back, vinyasa, or straight to your down dog. Try not to rush your vinyasa, really take your time. Think about each and every detail, each and every movement, each and every breath. Okay, here, so we're thinking about starting to gesture the chest back towards the thighs, just so you have that openness through the spine. But when you do that, try and draw the ribs back into the body so that you're using your deep abdominals. On your next exhale, let's bend the knees, look forwards, step or float lightly to the front. Inhale, lengthen flat back, and exhale to fold. Inhale, chair pose or Utkatasana. Weight is in the heels. Exhale, fold and release, tucking the chin. Inhale, lengthen through a flat back. And then exhale to plant the hands, step or float. Lowering down, elbows close to the body. Good. Big breath into your back bend. Big breath out to your downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep the right leg up and back. Exhale, step through, keep the back heel lifted, take an inhale, high lunge. Exhale to lean forwards and sweep those arms back. Inhale, arms move forwards. Exhale, spin the back heel, open it wide, warrior two. Good, big breath in to reverse your warrior. And then exhale, bring both hands down to the mat. When you step back, try and get the palms flat. Just allows you to create that connection, that strength through the shoulders. Okay, inhale, left leg sweeps high to the sky. Exhale, step through, back heels lifted. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, lean forwards and sweep those arms back. Good, inhale, arms move forwards. Exhale, spin the back heel, open it wide, warrior two. Big breath in, reverse your warrior. And then exhale, bring both hands down. Once again, stepping it back, take your time. Big breath into your back bend, legs are active there. Big breath out to your downward facing dog. Okay, so your choice, if you want to kind of press pause and take that a couple more times, that little flow a couple more times, you can. Otherwise, we're going to take an inhale, sweep the right leg up and back behind. Now flex the foot. Same as we did when we were in our all fours position. We need to make sure the right hip is facing downwards, not opening up to the sky. Then really draw that left hip in as you move the right foot over to the right-hand side of the room. It should feel quite tough. So I feel a little bit crampy in my right hip, and I'm really, really squeezing that left hip in so I'm not dipping the weight down. Okay, bring that foot back to center, release. Other side, so inhale, left leg up and back. Again, take a moment, just make sure that left hip is facing down, not opening to the sky. Right hip is active, so really, really drawing that right hip in. And then start to move that left foot out to the left-hand side. Do your best, even if it's a tiny movement, just notice how strong this feels in the sides of the bum. Good, come back to center, lower the foot. Okay, your choice. You can take a puppy dog pose, you can take a child's pose, or you can take a handstand practice. So those of you who are coming to puppy dog or child's pose, you're just starting to breathe, trying to deepen your breath. Those of you who are going into your handstand practice, you can take a split leg handstand practice, or you can take little bunny hops. So those of you who are coming to like your little split leg practice, I would just walk your feet kind of halfway up the mat, so you're in a shorter downward facing dog, and then think about lifting the right leg to the sky, shift the shoulders over the wrists, lift the left heel, and then little kicks up. Keep those legs active and strong, little kicks. Good, and then wherever you are, if you're in your if you're in your puppy dog or you're in your child's pose, we all meet in a ragdoll at the front of the mat. Big refueling breaths. Good, okay, release the hands down to the mat, heel toe the feet together. I'm going to take an inhale, come back to that chair pose again. So I don't want us just to think about the muscles of the bum. I want us to start to think about the ribs. So something I bang on a lot about, but really, really important way to stabilize through the deep abdominals. So ribs pulling in towards the body. We want to keep the natural curve in the spine, and we don't want it to be too much or too little, like completely tucked under. We want to keep that natural curve, but I want you to work the abdominals, so draw the ribs in. Okay, big breath in here. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Let's twist to the right. So left elbow wraps around the right thigh. Open through the chest. Your choice here, you can stay here. You can come to a side crow practice. You can open arms, or maybe you want to lift left elbow off the right thigh. If you are staying with the twist, maybe just check your knees. We don't want the left knee to be coming too far forwards because we want the twist to come from the spine. Okay, so inhale, come back to your chair pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to twist over to the left. Okay, again, your choice of variation. If you're staying in the twist, maybe just have a little look at your knees. They want to be roughly in line so that you're twisting from the spine. And then energetically thinking about lifting through that chest. Okay, good. We're going to meet in a chair pose. Big breath in. Exhale, fold and release, tuck the chin. Okay, crow pose. If you're not taking your crow, you're taking your seated squat. Those of you who are starting to take your crow pose, and you don't want to kind of start to lift the legs, that's absolutely fine. So you can just create the shape, lean forwards, and then come back. You don't even have to lift the legs. So it's all about starting to build a little bit of confidence. And also, if you're starting your crow pose, you might not be thinking about knees on the upper arms. You might go knees out to upper arms. That's a little bit, I think, a little bit easier. You might just go knees out to upper arms, maybe lift one foot, come back, come forwards, lift the other foot, come back. Whatever your variation is absolutely fine. Okay, once you've had a little play with that, then we're going to think about moving through a vinyasa or just simply step straight back to a downward facing dog. Big refueling breaths here. Okay, on your next inhale, we're going to sweep the right leg up and back behind. As you exhale knee to nose, we're going to shift the weight forwards around the upper back. Now draw the thigh bone closer towards the ribs, heel closer towards the butt. Good, inhale, sweep it up and back. Exhale, knee goes over to the right upper arm. Don't touch the right upper arm because I don't want you to lean on it. Good, inhale, up and back. Same arm, exhale, knee to the right upper arm. Then if you can, create a little frog leg. You're going to start to move the knee out to the side and get the foot as high as the knee. Good, last one, inhale, up and back. Exhale, knee to right upper arm. Again, some of you create that little frog leg, get the knee higher, get the foot higher. Good, inhale, up and back. Exhale, step through, keep the back heel lifted and take an inhale to your high lunge. Breathing a little bit deeper. Okay, so in your high lunge, this is when I always talk about the ribs. So because our arms are lifted and because of the position of our legs, we tend to forget about our abdominals and our ribs. So pull the ribs back into the body. Think about lifting hip bones up towards those ribs. And then big breath in. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to twist over to the right. So left elbow wraps around that right thigh. Open through the chest. Remember, you've got different variations here. You can lower the back knee and just concentrate on the twist. Maybe you think about opening arms or coming to a side crow. Or maybe you think about lifting left elbow off the right thigh, but keeping the twist. Good, that's really tough. We just basically make it a more active twist. Okay, we're going to meet in a high lunge. Big breath in. And then exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to lean all our weight forwards. Come up to a warrior three. Try not to kick the back leg up. So the back leg lifts slowly. Good, once you're there, if you want to play with different arm variations, that's absolutely fine. What I want you to remember is we're now balancing on one leg. So that right hip needs to pull in. Okay, good. We're going to start to come up to stand. Left knee draws in towards the chest. Again, what's going to want to happen is that left hip's going to just want to be lazy and the right hip's going to want to be lazy and pop out to the right hand side. We're going to draw that right hip in and you'll stand so much taller and you'll be using your stability and your strength. Now extend that left leg out in front, kick the heel high as it can go, keep the right hip active. Now move the left foot out to the left-hand side. Try not to sway over to the right-hand side. That's what we want to do. The body wants to lean over to the right. Keep the right hip active. Good. Back to center. Knee in towards the chest. Warrior 3. So just coming back the way we came. Find that focus, find that balance. Squeeze the right hip. Good. Kicking that left heel away. And then let's land back in a high lunge. Just take your time. Big breath in. And then exhale, we're going to open wide to our warrior 2. So shift your feet. I want the feet to be nice and wide here. We're going to really try and think about energizing through that right sitting bone so that the knee doesn't drop into the midline. So you want to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze right sitting bone like you're trying to press the right knee out to the right hand side. Energize through those arms, fingertips, find your breath. And then on your next inhale, let's reverse your warrior. So you're going to look up towards the sky. If you want to come into a half bind, you can. What I really want you to think about doing, though, is actually lifting up rather than just leaning back. Keep that activation through the right hip. One more big breath in. And then exhale back to a warrior 2. Okay, let's inhale, straighten through the front leg. As you exhale, triangle pose, Trikonasana. So I just shorten my stance just because it feels a little bit better for me and my body. So in your triangle pose, you can take any arm variations you want to take. What I want you to think about, though, is this right hand. If you have a little bit more experience, try and just hover the right hand away from the shin so that you're not dumping your weight down. You're actually energizing through the right hand side of the body. Good. Pull both thighs up. Think about the chest being open. And then we're going to come to a variation of side angle. So right forearm to right thigh. Okay, what I want you to think about here is this right shoulder is going to want to completely relax and do nothing. We always go to the path of least resistance. I want you to pull the right shoulder down the back. So it's like you're going to energize through that right forearm and almost lift the chest away from the thigh. Then that left arm is going to reach actually back behind you. Now drop the head so that the right ear is drawing towards the right shoulder. Don't move the shoulder towards the ear, just let the head and neck go. You should get a really good stretch through the left-hand side of the neck. Keep reaching those left fingertips away, like you're pulling the left shoulder away from the ear. Good, okay, from here we're going to come into half moon. So we're going to find either the block or the mat, or just in front of the mat with the right hand. You're going to lift the left leg seamlessly off the mat. Good, left arm to the sky. You can take different variations, so you might take Japasana by taking hold of the back foot. But some of you, what I want you to think about through this back leg, think about lifting the leg higher and then starting to move the foot, it's really hard, over to the left-hand side of the room a little bit. Keep the foot lifted though, and again, you should start to work the left side of the butt cheek. Good. Very slowly. Come back to a warrior 2. So no jumping back. Try and land the left foot down, then lift the right arm. Good. On your next inhale, reverse your warrior. Look up to the sky. And then exhale, let's spin both hands down to the mat. Lower the back knee. Okay, we're going to come to our low lunge. But firstly, I just want you to bring your hands to your ribs. So this is, again, a classic time. We want to use the flexibility of our hips by moving forwards and down. And then we just lose any involvement of the abdominals, so the ribs start to flare. So I want you to think about drawing the ribs together and into the body, and then start to lift the arms. Now really, really lift through the lower belly. Should actually give you more length. Okay, the more you can drive through both feet here, the longer you're going to get. Like the more you're going to be able to reach up to the sky. Okay, one more big breath in. Okay, exhale, bring both hands down to the mat. Ooh, anyone else's right butt cheek hurting? Okay, from here, let's start the back toes, lift the back knee. We're going to spin onto the outer edge of both feet. So both feet are now facing towards the right-hand side of the room. For a lot of us, we need to actually shift this right foot further down the mat, so kind of towards that left foot. Okay, reach the right arm up to the sky. Big breath in. As you exhale, we're going to lower the hips down to the mat and reach the right arm towards the back of the room. On your inhale, reach up, lift the hips, and reach that arm to the front of the room. Exhale to lower down. Try and keep that left leg straight and strong. Inhale to lift up. And exhale to lower down. Good, okay, this time inhale, lift up. We're gonna find our wild thing by trying to take 3 counts. So we're gonna step the right foot behind us, but move slowly, 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 slowly. Good, drive through the feet, open through the chest. Good, reaching towards the front of the room or the front of the mat. Good, slowly coming back to a plank pose. So this little bit is all about how you transition. Okay, I want you to come down onto your right forearm and spin the heels over to the right-hand side of the room, forearm side plank. So left arm's gonna reach up to the sky. Now lift the hips, option to lift the left leg up to the sky. Good, pressing the mat away. From here, forearm plank. Try to come down with control. Try not to just collapse through these transitions. Anytime you need to take a child's pose, take a child's pose. Some of you are going to stay in forearm plank. Some of you are going to work toes towards the elbows. Some of you might be playing with your pincher. Or you might start to think about lifting one leg, lowering, lifting the other leg, lowering. Your choice here, couple more breaths. Those in their dolphin, I want you to really think about spreading the shoulder blades apart from one another. Armpits pressing towards the back of the room. Belly engaged. And then child's pose when you're ready. Big, big, deep breaths. Okay, coming straight onto the other side. So come to your downward facing dog. And then on your next inhale, we're going to sweep the left leg up and back behind. As you exhale, knee to nose. So shift the weight forwards, round the upper back, get the thigh bone closer to the ribs, heel closer to the bum. Good, inhale up and back. Exhale, knee goes over to the left upper arm, but don't connect. Inhale up and back. Exhale, knee to the left upper arm. Now try and create a little frog leg. So let the knee go out to the side, foot as high as the knee. Good, inhale up and back. Exhale, knee to left upper arm. Again, frog leg. Get knee high, foot high. Good, inhale up and back. It's hard, that one. Exhale, step through, keep the back heel lifted. Inhale, high lunge. Find your breath. Okay, again, I want us to think about our ribs. Knit the ribs in, pull them back in towards the body. Hip bones moving up, belly engaged. Big breath in. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's twist to the left. Right elbow wraps around that left thigh. Take your time, take your own variations. So some of you might be opening arms or coming into a split leg side crow practice. Some of you might want to lift the right elbow off the left thigh and try and keep the twist. It's hard. Makes it much more active. Good, breathe wherever you are. And we'll meet in a high lunge. Okay, big breath in. Notice your wobbles. I'm starting to wobble. Okay, from here, hands to heart center. We're going to lean all our weight forwards. We used to try and lift the back foot in your warrior 3 without kicking up. So it's super slow. And then once you're there, kick the back heel away and notice how much you're dipping through that left hip. Squeeze the side of the left hip, like the left bum cheek, to keep you nice and stable. Okay, coming to center, so coming to stand. Draw the right knee in towards the chest, flex the right foot. Again, notice if you're dipping out to the left-hand side, squeeze the left butt cheek in. You should grow when you do that because it means that you're stabilizing the pelvis and you're keeping that length. Okay, extend that leg out in front, flex the foot, kick the heel high, and then think about moving the right foot out to the right-hand side. So all that moves is the leg. So you don't want to move the spine, you don't want to move the hips. You want to keep that left hip really active. Good, back to center, knee into the chest. Warrior 3. Any arm variation you want to take. Think about that chest being proud, ribs pulling in. Softly stepping back, high lunge. Big breath in. Exhale, open wide, warrior 2. Shift the back foot. Go nice and wide with the legs. And then just have a think about this front hip, the left hip and the left knee. So the more you can try and squeeze that left butt cheek, the more you're going to strengthen through that hip. And also the more you're going to open through the kind of inside of the hip. And then we keep our knee pressing out to the left-hand side. Good, okay, let's inhale, reverse our warrior. Remember, you can take a little half bind if you like. Keep the bend in the front knee and reach nice and tall. Try and breathe into the left-hand side of the ribs. One more big breath in. And then exhale back to a warrior two. Okay, let's inhale, straighten through the front leg. And exhale, reach forwards and down, Trikonasana, triangle pose. So back of the left hand goes to the inside of that left shin. And remember, if you can, just think about lifting the left hand away from the shin so that you've got lots of strength through the left-hand side of the body rather than dumping the weight down. Open through the chest, energize through the legs, really connect with the feet. And then let's come to our variation of our side angle. So left forearm to left thigh. The left knee is now bent, but I just want you to watch that the shoulder doesn't collapse towards the cheek. So draw the left shoulder down the back. The forearm can really press down towards the thigh. That helps keep that energetic lift. Right arm is actually reaching towards the back of the room, like the shoulder's trying to pull away from the ear. Then drop the head, like the left ear is trying to move towards the shoulder, but don't move the shoulder to the ear. So you get a really good stretch down through the right-hand side of the neck. Ooh, this side for me feels a lot tighter. Okay, we're going to start to think about half moon. So find where your left hand's going to go first. Then can you lift the back leg slowly without kicking up, right arm to the sky. Okay, so remember, if you have variations that you want to practice, go for it. Otherwise, if you're kind of staying with me, you're going to keep that back leg lifted high and then start to move the foot out to the right-hand side of the room. Keep the leg lifted. You should be working the side of the butt. Good, it's going to feel unstable. Come back to center and then start to move back to a warrior two, landing lightly. And then big breath in, reverse your warrior, look up. As you exhale, let's spin both hands down to the mat, lower the right knee. Okay, we're coming to low lunge, but we're just going to check on our ribs first. So hips move forwards and down. Use the flexibility of your hips here. Then I want you to think ribs in. As you do that, you should lift your body up and away from that front thigh. Open through the chest and then really activate through the legs. Okay, one more big breath in. Exhale, let's bring both hands down to the mat. So tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Spin onto the outer edge of both feet. So for me here, I just need to move this left foot a little bit further down the mat. Feels a bit more comfortable in my hips. Left arm to the sky. Big breath in. Exhale, lower the hips down. Try and keep that right leg active. Left arm to the back of the room. Inhale, lift up. Left arm up and over. Exhale to lower down. Enjoy the stretch. Inhale to lift back up. And exhale to lower down. Good. This time, inhale to lift. We're going to think about our wild things. So we're going to step the left foot behind us. Take your time. Try to move in 3 counts to step the left foot behind. Wild thing, opening through the chest, like the chest is trying to reach towards the front of the mat. Good. Remember, this next bit is all about our transitions. Come back to your plank pose with control. Try not to just flop. Left forearm down onto the mat. Heels over to the left. Right arm to the sky. Forearm side plank. Good. Lift the hips. Some of you will lift the right leg off the left leg. Good. Coming back to a forearm plank. So both forearms down on the mat. Really pressing the mat away to round through the upper back. Then thinking about walking toes in towards the elbows. For our dolphin, anytime you need to take your child's pose, go for it. In your dolphin, shoulders away from the ears. Press the mat away. Remember, hands can move together if that feels better. You can also interlace the fingers. Couple more breaths. Belly's lifted. And whenever you're ready, we'll meet in a child's pose. Ooh, big breaths in your child's pose. Arms can always go down by your legs and you can sway the body from side to side if that feels good. Okay, so let's come back to a downward facing dog. And then on your next exhale, we're going to bend the knees, look forwards. You can either step or float to the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen flat back. And exhale, fold. Okay, let's inhale, root to rise all the way up. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Okay, from here, we're going to step out, left foot out to the side of the room. Hands to hips. Press the hips forwards, bend the knees, squeeze the bum. Create a little standing back bend. The more you can press your hips forwards, the more you're going to lengthen through that lower back. Some of you will lean back. Big breath in. Exhale, fold. Hands down towards the mat. Those of you who want to work a headstand or an inversion from here, go for it. Otherwise, we're staying with a forward fold. So hands can stay where they are. You can take hold of the outer ankles. You can bend the elbows and allow your chest to move back. Totally up to you. But what I want you to do is think about finding length through the spine. Okay, those are the headstands. Just meet us when you're ready. Everyone else, we're going to effectively take our side split. So you move the feet out as far as can go, or as far as feels comfortable. So don't push your edge. We're going to be really careful here. And then maybe coming onto forearms. Some of you are not going to move from where you are. It just totally depends on your body. And then breathe. Breathe into the inner thighs. Get those legs active and strong. Not just sinking into this, but actually using the feet, using the legs. Okay, from here, coming back to center, what I want you to do is start to walk the feet roughly hip-width distance apart. So just heel-toe them all that way. Interlace the two-piece fingers around the big toes. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, fold, tuck the chin. Elbows out to the side, shoulders drawing away from the ears, and just allowing your chest to move forwards and down. Okay, from here, right hand is going to release the big toe. It's going to move out to the right-hand side of the mat, just slightly in front of you. If you need to, in fact, here you can use a block. So for some of us, it's easier just to put the right hand onto a block, especially if you've got short arms like me. So here, we're going to bring some weight into that right leg. You're going to lift the left foot up. So you've still got the two-piece fingers around the left big toe. Then try to squeeze the right outer hip so you're not leaning over to the right-hand side, and then move that left leg up to the sky. So I've got a lot of a way to work here because I'm really leaning over to the right. So I've got to really, really try and squeeze that right hip up and in. Good. Some of you will just slightly lift that foot and it will feel really hard. Just give it a go. Do whatever you can. I couldn't care less if you lift it high or you take it an inch off the mat, just as long as you're giving it a go with a smile on your face. So left hand onto the block, over to the left-hand side, slightly in front, maybe using a block, maybe not. Lifting that right foot up. Now squeeze the left hip as you move the right leg up towards the sky. Good. Really, really try and keep lifted through that left leg so you're not dipping out too much to the left-hand side. Good. Come back to center. Whew. For a lot of us, that won't feel that comfortable. It's hard because our glute med is a weaker muscle, so we find it quite hard to do all of this. Okay, so we're going to roll the spine all the way up to stand. Your last thing to lift will be the head, and then step the left foot forwards to meet the right. You come to the front of the mat. Hands to heart center. Big breath in, reach your arms up. Big breath out to fold all the way down. And then inhale, lengthen, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step or flow, Vinyasa, or just move straight back to a downward facing dog. When you're in your downward facing dog, inhale, sweep the right leg up and back behind. Exhale, step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. We're going to come to a lizard pose, so your choice. If you want to take a different variation to me, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to lower my left knee. I'm going to spin onto the outer edge of the right foot, right hand to the right inner thigh. It's just a good way to open through the glute and the IT band on the right hand side. If you want to, you come down on this left forearm, just whatever feels good for your hips. Good, okay, from here, we're going to come to full or half split. So just shift that right foot towards the center, and then I'm just going to take half split. So I flex my right foot, straighten my right leg just as much as feels okay. Some of you are going to have the knee bent. It's absolutely fine. I just want you to feel a stretch to the belly of that hamstring muscle, so it's kind of to the back of the thigh. Good, lengthen through the chest if you can, folding down if you can. And if your hands struggle to reach the mat, then use blocks. Okay, from here, pigeon pose. We're going to move that right foot out to the left, knee drops out to the right, and then starting to come down into your forearms, if that feels okay. Some of you might want to go even lower, reaching your arms out in front, softening the chest down. Just breathe into all the sensations around the hip. And then if you can, just for like the next three or so breaths, can you be still? Can you commit to some stillness? Do you find it hard to be still? Often we do. We are very active beings, and we tend to find it really hard to be still, which is what most of us need. Most of us need this balance in our life to be able to find stillness, find a sense of peace, and being able to relax and switch off. Okay, from here, we're going to meet in a three-legged downward facing dog. So we're going to take an inhale, sweep the right leg up and back behind. As you exhale, bend the knee, open out the hip. Your choice. You can stay here or you can flip your dog. If you're flipping, then you step that right foot behind the left, drive through the feet, reach up and over. And I want you to think about really, really opening through the chest, squeezing the bum. Good. And then we're going to meet back in a plank pose. In your plank pose, big breath in. Exhale, lower knees, and then chest all the way down. Okay, we're going to bend the knees. Catch hold of the outside or the inside of the feet, your choice. And then you're going to take an inhale to kick and lift, coming into your bow pose. And then gently coming down. That is definitely a pose I cannot speak in. So just look to one side, wiggle out the hips. And then we're going to think about pressing it back to a downward facing dog. Once you're there, inhale, left leg sweeps to the sky. And then exhale, step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Remember, it's your variation of your lizard. Some of you are going to lower the right knee, spin onto the outer edge of the left foot. Left hand to the inside of the left thigh. Maybe you come down onto that right forearm. Totally your choice. I just think this gives a really good stretch to the IT band and the outer butt cheek where we have been working. Good, okay, let's think about full or half splits. Use blocks as you need to. So for my half splits, I just shift my weight back. Left foot is flexed. Thigh is active. And then from here, we're going to come into a pigeon pose. Knee moves out to the left, foot over to the right. Walk that back leg a little bit further back. And here, I want you to find a good stretch to that outer right thigh, outer right hip, bum cheek area. And do your best to find some stillness once you're there. And if you're like me and you're quite tight in this area and you feel it really hard, then breathe a little bit deeper. Really, really focus in on all aspects of the breath, where you feel the breath, the smoothness of the breath, the length of the breath. Okay, we're going to meet in a three-legged downward facing dog. So inhale, sweep the left leg up and back behind. Exhale, bend the knee, open out the hip. So we're going to flip the dog, just an option to flip it. So left foot steps behind, drive through those feet, reach towards the front of the room, and breathe. And then we'll meet in a plank pose. Big breath in your plank pose. And then exhale, lower knees, and then chest all the way down. Okay, so this time, we're going to bend the knees, but I don't want you to catch hold of the feet. You're going to reach back towards them as if you're going to catch them, and then you're going to inhale, lift. Okay, so this is so much harder, because now you don't have your arms and legs acting as levers. You've just got to work the muscles in the back of the body. Good, squeeze the heels close to the bum, squeeze the back of the legs, lift the chest. One more big breath in. And exhale, release. Place your head to the opposite side and just wiggle out your hips. And then once again, we'll meet in a downward facing dog whenever you are ready. Okay, let's come through to a seated position. However you want to get there is fine. Once you come to seated, we're going to take our boat pose. So hands are going to go to the backs of the thighs. We're going to lift through the chest, ribs in towards the thighs. And then some of you might think about extending the arms, but just drop them down towards the mat. Keep the feet as high as the knees, and then squeeze the knees and the inner thighs, but separate the feet. Keep the feet flexed, and then from here start to move the heels back towards the hands. Keep the knees, inner thighs working, feet as moving as far out as you can. Good. If you get this right, you should really feel this to the outer hips. Good, really nice. Couple more. And then we're going to meet in a low boat, hovering off the mat, flex the feet, thighs active, belly engaged, pulling in, ribs in, arms reaching towards those feet for 3, for 2, and for 1, release. Okay, hug the knees in towards the chest, rock from side to side. Give yourself a really big breath in through the nose. And clear it out through the mouth. Okay, your choice here. So I'm going to leave it completely up to you. You can take a back bend. So you can take a bridge, a wheel, a supported bridge. Or you might want to take an inversion. And you can take your shoulder stand, you can take your plow pose, you can take your headstand practice. I'm going to take a supported bridge. So I'm going to lift up. I'm going to go on the highest level of the block, pop the block underneath my pelvis. I'm going to release onto this. So you've got about a minute here. You take your pose, remembering that if you're coming into something more restorative like being on the block or legs up a wall, then really just try to completely relax. Those of you who are playing with other inversions, if you're not completely comfortable in the middle of the room, maybe think about using a wall. And in fact, I would love to know from any of you if you have any suggestions of things you want me to workshop or teach you, like if you want me to do a little headstand workshop, let me know. So just comment below and I'll do a little workshop for you when I can. Okay, we're going to slowly start to think about meeting either in a happy baby or a fish pose. So your fish pose, possibly for those of you who took a shoulder stand or a plow pose, your forearms come underneath you, so you kind of sit on your hands, you extend the legs, and then you press the forearms into the mat, lift the chest, and let the head and neck go, so you get a really good opening through the front of the body. Those of you taking happy baby, take hold of the outside edges of the feet or the ankles or maybe the backs of the thighs. And then we'll end with a twist. So we're going to drop the knees over to the right, head over to the left, arms into a nice wide T. Just find a place that's comfortable. for your knees to be, for your legs to be. So maybe crossing one leg over the other. And then knees back to center, drop them over to the left, head over to the right. Bring the knees back to center just when you're ready. If you need to take any additional wiggles, any additional poses, totally up to you, go for it. Otherwise, we'll take a big breath in through the nose. Clear it out through the mouth. Come into your Savasana. So releasing the arms and the legs, palms can face up. And just relax the body, relax the chest, the shoulders. Ultimately trying to find a moment of peace in a no doubt very busy week. And in our Savasana, we are effectively just practicing our meditation. So finding a point of focus, and that focus can be anything. The breath. Maybe you have some music in the room. Maybe you're listening to the sound of your breath. Maybe you're just drawing your awareness to different parts of the body. Wherever your attention lies, anytime your focus wanders, you just draw it back to your point of attention. Even if you have to do that 100 times in a minute. And so much of our practice is just becoming aware of the fluctuations of our mind and how many different thoughts come and go. If you have longer, please stay here. Otherwise, start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Begin to deepen the breath, maybe giving yourself a big stretch overhead. And then hug your knees towards your chest, roll over onto either side. And then just start to think about coming up to a comfortable seated position. Keep your eyes closed and draw your hands towards your heart. And then let's end with a big breath together. So inhaling through the nose fully and deeply. Open mouth, release. Namaste, everyone. As always, thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope you enjoyed my flow. Any questions, please let me know below. And yeah, any ideas, as I said, do let me know. I love hearing from you. I love reading everything that you comment, you post. I hope to see you soon. Hope to see you next week.